Good morning, everybody. We have an excellent open mic show today. We're freaking close to Pulsechain mainnet. We can feel it in our bones. This is the Money Talk Show with Dane, where we talk about topics relating to money, specifically crypto and real estate. So if those are topics that are interesting to you, you're in the right place at the right time. We're doing our best to help our all of our entrepreneur buddies, our real estate investor buddies, and everybody else understand what we feel like is the biggest opportunity over the next few years, that being crypto. So welcome. We're pumped to have you guys. Corey, go ahead and take it away.
Absolutely. This is Crypto Millionaires with Corey Geary, and we're just super stoked to be here with you today, to be on this journey of accumulating legacy wealth for us and our family, and helping bring along our real estate buddies, our entrepreneur buddies along for the ride, teaching them how to do the exact same thing for them and their families, using crypto right now as a wealth creation tool, to use real estate down the road as a wealth preservation tool. And this show today, guys, is DeFi Crypto Alliance. It is an open mic. This is your show. Hexicans, this is your show, your time. Let's get it. So, guys, Dane, drop that link in there, and let's start talking about everything Pulsechain, Hex, real estate if you want, even though that's kind of a boring topic for us. But we'll still talk about it. So yeah, guys, let's get it. We think Pulsechain's probably right around the corner. I really feel it, man. This is it. I was having my one-on-one with Gamma yesterday, and it's pretty public that we're almost there. Like, it can happen any day. V4, the only intention for V4 was to get the APY correct for the validators. That's it. If it went for that one reason, we'd have been live. Mainnet would have been live. That was expressed to me. And so once we know,
I saw that floating around. Was that did Gamma confirm that?
Yeah, and not only Gamma, also the other dev. What's his name?
Brett.
Yeah. So yeah, if it wasn't for that one little hiccup, mainnet would have been live. And so I feel like once they get enough validators online, and they get things humming, and they see the APYs working out, and there's no other hiccups. Now, obviously, there could be another hiccup. We just don't know, right? They could have tweaked with the APYs and rewritten some code, and something happens. We just don't know. And I'm not smart enough or a dev to even think about like what could, or what are the things that could go wrong or not go wrong. It's too much. But if it runs smoothly, man, I really feel like we could see mainnet within a week or two. I really do. And so it'll be interesting to see.
It will be. It'll be really interesting to see. Wild time to be alive. Rhino Chaser, we see you jumped in. You've got to connect your mic and your cam in order to be added to the stream. I can't add you until you do that. So FYI. But yeah, go ahead and jump in. We've got the link in the stream. Love to have you guys on. There we go. We got you. Love to have you guys in. There's been people selling Hex. There's been people buying it. There's people trying to position themselves. So let's start with this. I think this is a really interesting conversation. So, in hearing from the other devs and people in the community, it sounds like when Richard and his team, they fork Ethereum, there could be about a up to a week lag in time frame from the fork to mainnet launch.
Sure.
And so I think that it's a really interesting discussion. If you feel like they've already forked Ethereum for mainnet, then you're not going to get a copy of anything you buy right now. So I love your guys' input. We'll let Alberto in. Alberto's in our group. What's up, Alberto? Boy. So love your guys' thoughts. And nobody's right or wrong here. We're just kind of shooting the breeze. Do you guys think that potentially Richard and his team have already forked Ethereum, and from here moving forward, if you were to buy today, for instance, you're not going to get a copy of the things you bought today on Pulsechain? What do you guys think?
I mean, I'll tell you my opinion. I don't think we've forked yet, but I think it can happen any second now, because obviously we just saw V4 go live. They're going to want to make sure that it's running comfortably humming along, and then they'll fork. So I don't think it's happened yet, but man, I think literally it could happen tomorrow. It could happen. It could happen tonight. I mean, I would say get ready. If you're not ready for Pulsechain, meaning if you need to get some stable coins into your wallet, right? You need to put some new economic energy from your bank account over to your Trezor or Ledger. I would do that today. Today's Friday. I mean, the weekend, the banks are closed, guys. We know that. Crypto's not closed. Banks are closed. So get money in today is what I would say. Any assets that you want to hold through the fork, obviously, we all love hacks. Get some today. I mean, people are FOMOing into Zen as we're speaking, and they're buying the top, giving us an opportunity to get a nice deal on some hex right now. So get some hex. I've opened up an LP position myself, and I've been gathering some hex via that LP position. It's been really nice. Credit out to Access Alive for that. He helped basically educate me a little bit more in the LP space. So get more hex is a great opportunity right now. Or if you wanted to hold a couple other ERC20s like Hedron, Icosa, Pulse Bitcoin, obviously Pulse Bitcoin's on sale right now. Maybe a little bit of that, using that liquidity for some swapping into Pulse or Pulsex. Just don't go too heavy because there's not going to be a lot of liquidity after the fork. But you know, there'll be a little bit. So
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. What's up, Alberto? What's up, Rhino Chaser? Can you guys hear us all right?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
Super fuzzy.
Yeah, your
Is
mic's
that
wrecked.
better? Let's see.
How about me? Am I coming through clear?
You're coming
Yeah,
through
Yeah,
good.
you're coming in good. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple of
How
computers.
about now?
Yeah, go ahead, Rhino Chaser. Let's start with you.
I was just saying I have a couple of computers. This particular one is one of these small little computers. That's about a 4x8-inch computer. I have dual monitors, but there's no camera on the monitors. So
Oh, you're good,
that's
man.
why I'm depriving you of my lovely image. Yeah, I want you guys to be able to focus. So yeah, let's get to it. What do you?
Yeah, I see that
what's the
you
latest and
had
the
asked a
greatest?
question on how much Pulse you need to be a validator. It's 32 million. Are you planning on being a validator, Rhino Chaser?
Well, I just asked the other day how much it costs for the computer gear, and somebody said it's like only like $1,500 or less, maybe.
Yeah, that's about right. The
Yeah.
bare minimum requirements.
Yeah, like maybe 1,500, $2,000. That's a no-brainer. And then, but I don't have the. I didn't SAC for PL. I just barely missed PLS and PLSX, so I don't have any until they become available.
Yeah. I would just set up a nice DCA strategy around both of those assets. Honestly, if you don't have either one of them, I think they're both going to do just fine. But if you're really looking for Pulse, yeah, set up a solid DCA strategy. I mean, I'll kind of share with you mine. I have a 90-day or 3-month DCA strategy where I'll be buying twice a week, or broken up evenly over those 90 days. And then the exception to the rule is if Pulse or PulseX for you, I sacrifice for PulseX, so I'm really going after Pulse unless I see a big dip on PulseX. But if 1 to 3x from the sacrifice price, if it launches 1 to 3x, for meaning the sacrifice price was 0.0001. So if it launches from 0.001 to 0.0003, I'm gonna ape in. I'm gonna go in really heavy with my bag. If it goes from a 4 to 5x, I'm gonna go half in and then DCA the other half of my bag. And then if it's a 6 to a 9x, I'm gonna ape in a quarter of my bag and then DCA the rest of my bag, leaving dry powder for dips. And then if it's a 10x or higher, I'm just going to implement a solid DCA strategy. There's no aping in or going heavy. So that's my strategy at launch. So, obviously you got to figure out what's the right fit for you. Write it on paper. Dane loves Excel sheets. He puts everything in Excel file. And so that way he has it up on his computer when he's doing stuff. I like notebooks. I got a stack of crypto journals in my crypto room, like this big, of me just doing notes and mapping out my portfolio. That's the way I like it. So I mean, yeah, write down a good plan, a good strategy, and man, there hasn't been a launch of a layer one, and Dane's covered this a few times, besides Polkadot. Dane, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if that's the one.
Yep.
That has not returned back to its launch price or dip below its launch price at some point in time between the time of launch and 3 months. I think it's the time span. And so we have a lot of people in our community that have been waiting for 2 years. There's a lot of people that are hurting from the bear market. There's a lot of people who are pissed off at Richard. I feel like we will see some dumping of both assets at some point in time. Whether it's out of the gate, who knows? But be patient, and the asset will come to you.
Yeah, I like the idea of buying on the dip and potentially getting close to SAC prices by being patient.
Being patient. I think the opportunity can happen. I really do.
Then I'm a little different. I want to go big dip game hunting.
I like that.
You know, historically, if you look at price charts, you know, like Corey's saying, we did a lot of research on former L1s, some of the best performing ones. All of them except Polkadot, like Corey said, dipped below their initial offering price. Many of them had a little pump and then a nice big dip. You saw it similarly with eFiat. eFiat had a pump and then a dip, and its dip was fast. Now, maybe we haven't seen the bottom there. Maybe we have. I don't know. But if we have seen the bottom, it was quick. It was in like 2 days. Historically, if you look at the other L1s, they dipped and they found a bottom anywhere from about 2 weeks out to to 90-ish days to really find a good solid bottom. And so for me, you know, I'm a big believer in the idea that I don't think either Pulsechain nor Pulsex will dip below or dip below the best sacrifice price. If they do, I think it'll be brief. I don't think that Pulsechain will. I don't see it. I could be wrong. It'll be
hard to imagine.
Yeah, hard to imagine. I could see it with Pulsex, but I don't think it'll be for long if it does. And man, yeah, I want to scoop up the stuff that's on the best deal. And if Pulsechain comes out and rips right out of the gate, I mean, that's not on discount. You know, it's not on a discount compared to SAC price. Now the question is, and this is where you've got to determine your own strategy, is that a discount compared to where the price chart's going to be in the next 90 days? Will there be a better entry point? And that's where, you know, nobody knows. Nobody does. And anybody that tells you they do, you know, they're a liar. They don't know. So, you know, having a good solid dollar cost average strategy, I think it makes a lot of sense. But I'm going to stay out of my plan is just to stay out of the game, you know, for the first little bit. If Pulsex gets close to the best SAC rate, I'm going in heavy there, because I think there'll be a time where they'll oscillate back together, and I could trade some of that Pulsex to Pulse if I really want to firm up that bag at a better ratio. So I don't know, just some thoughts.
Do you know what this chart is?
Tetra.
It's Tetra. It's 17 days old, and it hasn't even came back close to what its launch price was. Or it launched at a 10x from its SAC price. 10x.
And it's only gone up.
And it's only gone up. It's 17 days old. I don't know anymore if this is going to return. I think I missed this opportunity now. I could be wrong. We could see it play out maybe another month from now. Maybe it goes back and returns. But man, I don't know.
Here's the thing, and I love your guys that are on the show. Love your insights on this. Feel free, if you're not on the show, to post it in the chat. But man, like, I think that once Pulsechain launches, I think all the eyes are going to be on Pulsechain and certainly on Pulsex. I think there will be eyes on Hex, but I think any of these other assets that you're really interested in, there's just not going to be a lot of attention and energy there. I think there will be some opportunities.
There will be. I agree with that sentiment.
Yeah, you're not going to get like your free copy, you know, but I think so. That's where back to my idea where I want to go big dip hunting, you know, like I'm really, there's some of these other assets that I really like on Pulsechain. There's not a lot. I'm very selective of what I put in my portfolio, but I'm going to be paying very close attention and I'm going to be buying big, fat, juicy dips if and when they present
Now
themselves.
you could go a layer deeper and be like, okay, well, I'm gonna take, say you got 20K. You could say you could take 10K and do the Corey Gary strategy of the DCA. Then you could take 10K and put that aside and go, okay, this is my big dip hunting bag,
Right.
if you will,
right.
and deploy both strategies. And I bet you'd come out in the long run.
That's a good point. Yeah, there'll be a balance.
I think
Yeah.
you'd come out in really good shape at the end of the movie. You'd be really happy of what your what you came out with. I think, and I
Yeah.
might do this. I might do something like that where I'll keep my strategy the same, but then I'll have a portion of my bag where like it will be off of and I'm not going to touch it. It won't be part of the DCA strategy at all. It's like, okay, this is my big dip hunter. What is on sale today? Let's get
Right.
out there, and because we all love deals, man. I'm with you. I love a good deal. I mean, we've been in real estate for nearly a decade, and that's what we did in real estate is we went out and found deals.
Right. Exactly. So it'll be fun. What's going on, Coco? Thanks for jumping in. What are your thoughts on what we're talking about?
Hello, guys. I'm happy to be live with you. Just a small note. In my country, it's pronounced as koco. Yeah, I know that in English speaking countries, it's coco, and my fault.
Thanks for correcting me. No, I apologize about that.
but it's koco. Okay. Well, what I'm thinking about, maybe some additional strategy will be to bridge in some new money once the bridge are open, and with some small portion do the yield farming between PLS and PLSX to gain the incentive token. I definitely do not want to do it with my main backs. I want to have them standalone, only PLSX to use for single site staking, of course, because I will be not be punished by the impermanent loss, but with some portion of new fresh money, I think it's worth to establish yield farming position mainly between these two assets. I guess I'm very, very curious and excited how the incentive token will play out, because I checked what KTP did. She read the contract twice. Kudos to her. She's very, very tech savvy. He's really how to say? Yeah, she's into technical stuff.
She is.
Yeah.
And I appreciate
we call that smart.
Yeah, right.
She's very smart.
We're the rest of us are just peanut brains. Is how Sami, my friend,
Yeah, and I was positively surprised what she wrote about that token, and it caught my attention because I didn't pay much attention to that. Maybe because of the fact that Richard himself said that he doesn't care, that he wasn't taking care about that incentive token, but looks like someone mentioned in the Twitter that it's just like that Richard just cannot make a normal token, that he always
right
finds something, some utility for that. So I don't know, maybe that incentive token already by its name will cause some incentive to bring attention to people, to the external ones outside the Hex community, because maybe it will be some kind of magical token, at least in the beginning, that will not dump forever like it's usually like it's a usual play with such incentive token anywhere else. Yeah, usually those are just dump tokens. Maybe it will at least maintain its value, or maybe it will increase its value, and this can attract attention to that. Yeah, so
100%. I feel like he's got some really good game theory and tokenomics behind the incentive token. Do you remember what all those tokenomics are, Dane?
Yeah, behind the incentive token.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so you earn the fees like normal when you're providing LP. It's interesting because it's like a version 2 of Uniswap. And there's been a lot of confusion about this. So if you go into a yield farm today, if you go on Uniswap, most people are providing liquidity on version 3 of Uniswap.
Yeah.
And I'll try to keep this super simple. Long story short, if you're providing liquidity on Uniswap, you can do, you utilize what's called concentrated liquidity, and you pick a range between which you set your LP. So if, for instance, you're in the Hex USDC pool and it's at like 6 cents right now, you could provide LP. There's a lots of different ways you could do it. But for this example, you could provide like $1,000, in LP and a range of like 7-cent hex and 5-cent hex. So you're balanced. And as long as the LP is in that range, you earn fees. Price moves back and forth. People use your tokens. Well, on version 2 of Uniswap, you don't do that. You don't pick any ranges. You just put your pair in, you pair them together, you put them in the pool, and the price will move. There's no concentrated liquidity, and you earn fees. And so with the incentive token, it's interesting because you not only do you earn the fees from the pair like you do on Uniswap, you also earn the incentive token. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a fixed supply. I think it's like 33 million per year. Do you guys recall?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And it stays constant.
Right. It stays constant.
Yeah.
Let me find so it's interesting. The supply isn't like necessarily like a pancake swap where there's just an insane amount of it being minted all the time. It's interesting that it's fixed. And I mean, we've seen tokens like this do just fine. Like Pancake did great in the last cycle, even with it inflating, theoretically into oblivion. So
35%, I guess, annually.
Right.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, exactly. So I mean, I'm with you. Man, I want to be gobbling up some of that incentive token as well. I think that it's really intriguing, especially now, you nothing we say here is financial advice, and it goes without saying. There could be some game theory behind getting in early in some of those pools to get really strong fees early on when liquidity is thin and earning a lot of incentive token.
Yep. And I hope out of the gate they do have a Pulse and Pulse X with the incentive token attached. I'd imagine they would, because one of the first pairs. So you would think it'd be one of the initial pairs that would have the incentive token. After that, I know the DAO is part of the voting for the incentive token when it's added or removed to which pairs. But man, it would be cool if those two assets were out of the gate had the incentive token attached. Because I think there's something about that token that I think is gonna be a long-term bullish.
Yeah,
Could be. Yeah.
I agree. I'm with you. I like the incentive token. I think it's interesting. Now I'm not going to go and bet a huge wad on it, right? I'm not going to go provide just obscene amounts, but I want to throw my hat in the ring and have some options there. Here's Katie. Shout out to Katie. She puts out a ton of good information. If you're not following her on Twitter, highly recommend it. But she shared this the other day, and I think this is what you're referring to, Koto. She says, want to get more bullish on Pulsex? The incentive token is how. So there's a public burn function. Anyone can go and burn off their incentive token. So that's interesting.
It is interesting.
You could come in kind of like they've done with Zen. People built protocols around Zen to burn it. Someone could build the protocol on Pulsechain that could burn incentive token. So that's interesting.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm following both spaces, the Hexagon and the Xenian ones. and there is a clear competition now. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
I
a-
like-
Competition, yeah.
That's to say it lightly.
yeah, I left like 2 days ago when Jack posted a tweet that he's probably going to fork Uniswap v3 and make it better, and it was a clear and provocation to PulseX. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like.
Did you feel like he was saying that he would fork it and go and launch it on Pulsechain? Was that kind of what you were deriving from that tweet?
Well, I think he is building his X1.
Yeah,
Right.
that's where I derive from it. He's in a fork of PulseX or a Uniswap for X1.
Uniswap
Yeah.
v3, and most likely he's aiming for a autonomous blockchain
Right.
with all the stuff. He's native, and the third parties like DBZen, like Phoenix that's going out like in 2 weeks, etc., etc.
Mhm.
And most likely he's going to implement some kind of decentralized exchange. So that will be a competitor to Pulsex. Yeah.
And it's
And,
kind of like the competition that that Richard had with or yeah, there was talk of competition between him and CZ with Binance this last cycle, and you're seeing the competition with Jack. And we're with you. I mean, I'm pretty bullish on the Zen ecosystem. Now the one thing that's really interesting, in fact, I was talking with one of our members in our group yesterday about this. So it's funny how people get very tribal with crypto. I saw a tweet from a dude that I like quite a bit in the Hex community the other day. He's like, "Oh, I just can't get past, Jack Vampire attacking the community. I'll never get involved in Zen." And that's fine. That's fine if you feel that way. We're here to make money. Corey and I are here to make money. Period.
why not to
End
have
of the
both?
day.
Thank
Why
you.
not to have both?
Yeah.
And so I think that Zen has some really interesting things going on there. I mean, the price chart recently looks really intriguing. You have the X1 blockchain coming up that Jack's coming out with. Now we've seen some weaknesses with Jack. We've seen some problems with their launches on other chains. We've seen problems with some of the inflation and Zen, and there's been talk about how Zen was built, and so we haven't seen that with Richard. Now we've seen lots of weaknesses with the timing
Oh God,
the launch of his protocols, but with Hex it's performed flawlessly.
Hey,
And
everyone.
I think that speaks volumes, and we all anticipate Pulsex and Pulsechain to perform flawlessly as well. So I like that a lot. That being said, you had chains like Solana that crushed it this last cycle, that went down all of the time. And Jack is from those types of circles, the VC circles. And so, even if X1 isn't this mind melting, new application that just blows everything away, there still is plenty of upside, in my opinion, for that chain to perform really well. And I'm interested. I want to play the game.
If I may add something which is a very important regarding the X1. It was a great announcement, like maybe a week ago. Jack was streaming with Crypto Kindness and Crypto Profita and few other guys, and he had a big applause from the audience because he changed his mind about the VCs that should be involved in X1, and he said that he changed his mind and that he will continue to make the fair distribution of crypto totally decentralized, and it's also good because of the censorship resistant thing that if you have VCs in your system, there can be there may be a centralized organization that just comes and directs them to sell their tokens because they were unregistered securities, etc., which would harm the ecosystem. And Jack just stepped away from that, and he introduced limited supply for the X1, where the whole inflation coming from Zen could be transformed and anchored into a deflationary or not deflationary system, but into fixed supply system. Yeah.
Right.
So I see
the only way to get X1 from my understanding, and I haven't spent a ton of time there, but my understanding is you would burn Zen to get X1. Is that accurate?
And DB Zen. Jack said as well.
And DB Zen.
Yeah, there's other or some of the NFTs you can burn too. So but it's all done. It all starts with Zen.
Yeah.
Right.
And also the supply will be burned, basically the fees and stuff. All transactions, 50% of all transaction fees will be used to burn the X1 token. And I believe also this will happen with the exchange that he's building.
Wow, interesting. Is it a buy and burn function or just strictly burn?
I do not know. He has not released that yet, but that's what I know currently. So 50% of the fees will be burned, and that's what I currently know about it. I think he's gonna fork. I think he's gonna fork Pulsechain though, but he's gonna make it better. So probably more burn.
That's what I would do. Like if I was launching X1 and then we needed a decentralized exchange, I'd fork Pulsechain too. Like the game theory there is beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. But also I had some. I wanted to say something about the PLS and PLSX thing. I don't know. Do you guys know that the AMM bot will basically inflate Pulsechain a lot? So there will be a ton of liquidity for Pulsechain, which will make it slower to move.
Corey has a lot of insight on that. Go ahead and talk about that.
It's a set amount that the AMM bot is allowed to inflate, right? It's not just going to inflate into oblivion or deploy all the liquidity, right out of the gate, where it has a set amount that it's allowed to, or it's programmed, I guess, if you will, to inflate and how much to put in for liquidity. And it's based off of transaction usage. And so right out of the gate, there's like going to be like 5% liquidity available from the AMM bot, right? And as transactions scale up on the chain, the liquidity will be added also from the AMM bot as transactions are scaling. But it's not Pulse is not inflated to oblivion, where the main inflation will come from is the node validators. There is an amount of inflation that will happen via the node validators to pay for validator rewards, for validation. The same like in Ethereum. Ethereum's inflationary until it's not, when it's deflationary, when the blockchain's being used because EIP 1549, I think it's called EIP 1549. I can't remember what the exact name of it, and that's where the Ethereum starts burning after it reaches about 20 Gwei and higher. Some Ethereum starts burning. So Zen's obviously really bullish for Ethereum blockchain because it's burning Ethereum. Same with Pulse. When we reach a certain threshold on the Gwei, or it's called beats in Pulse, when we reach a certain threshold in beats, Pulse, we will start. Pulse will also become disinflationary, and it'll start burning. But the inflation is mainly to reward the node validators. But there will be a set amount that is determined for the liquidity pools. That's not like it's going to inflate forever for liquidity pools. But for node validators, it does inflate forever until the EIP 1559 kicks in.
Yeah. Thanks, Corey. Thanks.
Absolutely. But you make a good point. There's going to be a lot of, I think, a lot of Pulse for sale in the beginning, of the ecosystem. So people who thinks that Pulse is just going to moon, I don't buy it. I feel like there's a lot of sell pressure coming out in the ecosystem after we launch. I feel like as transactions are being ramped up, more liquidity be provided into the pools, and I feel like we're going to have an opportunity to pick ourselves up some good sized bags. So if anybody wants to be a node validator, they can have the opportunity to do so. We need node validators, right? We need to have a lot of them. That's part of the game theory of being fully decentralized across the world. We need a crap ton of node validators all across the globe, so we can have full decentralization of the blockchain. If people get priced out of Pulse right out of the gate, and nobody can buy Pulse because it costs $250,000 to pick up a bag of Pulse to go be a node validator, how are we going to stay decentralized? How are we going to stay stable? And so I feel like the opportunity will be there for a little while for people to come in and pick up a bag of Pulse to be a node validator, just because of that one reasoning. We have to make sure we have enough and that we stay decentralized and stable.
Yeah, you're right. And what is basically your how bullish are you on Zen? Because what's your strategy basically? Because you need to sell the Zen, to burn the Zen to get the X1 token.
Yes.
But if everyone does that, the Zen token will go up a lot. And I started minting at day 1. I was there at day 1.
I was too.
I did around $800, and it's now like $80,000 or something like that.
Yeah,
it's insane. It's insane.
It's insane.
Not a bad day at the office.
Bull run, man. Zen can easily do 1,000x from its bottom. There's no question about that. Zen can never do that.
How? That's insane, man. That's more than 8 million.
And be careful with all the protocols, okay? Because they're going to keep building projects on top of it to burn Zen. The community is going to keep building and building and building, especially as we enter into a bull run. Be careful on burning your Zen for all these random protocols, because what the precious coin is Zen, not the protocol itself. So you got. I feel like obviously the layer 1 blockchain would be a good one to burn for, but don't go burning for Phoenix and then the next one and the next one, because then you're burning all your Zen and you're just following the herd.
Yeah,
you don't want to do that.
But I do not believe, because how much Zen do we get if we burn all the Zen? It's not going to be like, if I sell $80,000 in Zen to get X1, I think it will be way better to just buy it, because it's not going to be worth it, I believe.
I mean, it's hard to say.
Yeah, I think right now, and I might change this. I think right now I'm thinking I'm probably like 50-50. I think I'm probably burn half my Zen for X1 and hold the other half, something like that.
Yeah, that's not a bad strategy. Right? Just be diversified in your strategy, and I think you'll be okay. But I feel like the X1 will also do really well. And if your initial price, it's going to work like the adoption amplifier. If you guys we're not OG Hexicans, but you are OG Hexicans, you remember that time when you just send in ETH into the adoption amplifier, and that it is an auction type style where that day you would get your share of the auction of Hex. It's going to be like that with Zen on the X1 chain. And as of now, until he changes it, I hope he kind of changes this game theory. He's going to leave that adoption amplifier, if you will, that auction style, open for 3 years. That's right now. Yeah, I don't like that strategy. I hope he limits it down to like a year. I think a year is a nice, or even shorter is a good feel for But 3 years, maybe because he wants to burn as much Zen as possible. And to Jack's words, he says the X1 chain will be the biggest customer of Zen, right?
Yeah, but it's just insane, man. Like, this could be something very huge, and people do not understand it, because it's not hard to get in. It's free to get in. Everyone can get access to it. So it's not like this swap things you need to do to get your money. You just need Ethereum, and you get access to the coin. It's simple to get in.
Except you get priced out of Ethereum when the Gwei is at 150.
Well, then use Matic.
You can't mint Zen at 150 Gwei.
Then just use Matic. People that have not a lot of money can just use Matic.
You can go to Matic, you go to BNB, you can go to Phantom. I minted a crap ton of wallets on Phantom. You could. I remember when this was months ago, I was minting like 100 wallets on Phantom for like $5.
We're doing batch minting.
Insane. And so I sat there on a batch minter one night, just going. I just kept pushing max black. I minted like thousands. I think I got like 6,000 wallets.
Yeah, I got around 50K right now on Matic itself. Like, you can do it pretty fast.
I don't know how much my wallets are worth over there. I haven't checked. I just sat one night.
Matic is a lot now.
Crazy because it was so cheap.
Yeah, price has been up on all the chains. It's pretty wild.
It's insane.
Yeah. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see it play out. I'm still personally more bullish in the Pulsechain ecosystem when that finally unravels and unfolds. But we are not maxis. We are profit maxis. That's for damn sure. I want to make profit,
damn sure.
And that's why I did mint Zen. I'm not going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, the Jack Vampire attacked us. Well, then now what did you just miss out on? Did you just cost yourself $1 million because you have an ego problem and you're mad because some vampire attacked the Heads community? Did he vampire attack the Heads community? Yes, he did, because he's a businessman and he knew what he was doing. He was going after the smartest community in crypto. And he knew if he could get in there and grab these guys and get these guys over onto his ecosystem, that he would have not only cult followers, because we all are. We're strong. We follow like a cult-like following. He would have a cult-like following, and they would be educated in crypto. Because I feel like the Hetzinkin community is the most educated community in all of crypto. Look at the Sheeb community. Look at the XRP community.
I believe he's going to help our product, our blockchain to go up as well.
The first person who pointed out was Buck Fiat, is that as the Zen community is getting rich as hell over in Zen, a lot of that economic energy will bleed back over to the Pulsechain system. So it's the vampire and the vampire now. And so like that money will just, it was swoosh back and forth. The money will just swoosh back and forth. And wouldn't it be nice to have a position in both?
Yeah, you're right. It's insane because the chain will just keep on deflating and stuff. So it's a net supply since day one. So it's insane. You need to get in. Like, it's a no-brainer.
I think that I want to make sure anybody that's watching, like it goes without saying, our opinion, me and Corey both, our opinion is very much that like this is something that you should consider minting rather than buying on the market. And in fact, Corey and I haven't talked about this, but my opinion, I think we'll have decent Gwei days and opportunities over the next 6 months. Like, I think,
for sure.
I think there's plenty of opportunities still, mint at reasonable prices. In fact, I set my alarm last night for, I set it for 1:30, 2:30, and 3:30 a.m.
Ouch!
And I literally,
your wife gotta hate you, bro.
Laptop sitting by my bed. My alarm would go off. I'd flip it open real quick. I'd go try to mint a Zenturion, and I'd see if it was a reasonable gas price. And I didn't hit any times that I felt really good about. So I just went back to sleep. And
this morning, I almost minted one. I had it for 1,800.
I'm looking right now. There were a few times where you could get it for like 1,600.
Gas is coming down. So that means this weekend we should see it around. You could probably pick one up for 12 or 1,400. That's
what I'm hoping. I'm hopeful for that. Yeah,
which is just double what we would have got it back from 6 months ago or however, or 3 months ago. It's just double, because I was minting about 550, 600 for a Zenturion. And so like I'm okay with that with this atmosphere if I got to pay double, because I mean it's literally like you said 40x or however much. I mean it's ridiculous. So
a lot.
Yeah, I'll pay double. What I want is I would like one Zenturion coming out a month. One Zenturion a month at minimum coming out, where I can do whatever I want with that Zen. If I want to sell it, great, sell it. Or if I want to put it into the X1 blockchain, great. Or hold it for price appreciation and stake it, right? You have the optionalities, but one a month would be nice. That for me is a good comfortable position where you have one max Zenturion a month.
Corey and Dylan, I wanted to ask you guys something. Do you guys know something about liquidity bonding?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And what do you think will happen with Pulsechain and Hex and PulseX?
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the opinion. I think Richard is well. Okay, so let's go down the rabbit hole. This is
He's
complete
gonna pump it up.
complete and utter speculation. I mean, you look at if you didn't watch our show with B Roots that we did a while back, go back and watch it. But I think he nailed it. You know, Richard had called Hex at a 10,000x from the beginning, and lo and behold, it magically does exactly that.
Exactly.
And
Like
then it did.
almost to the T from top to bottom or bottom
Yeah.
to top.
And like that, in our opinion, well, I can't speak for Corey on this, but in my opinion, that wasn't on accident. That wasn't just
Yeah.
the market doing market things to magically manifest a 10,000x perfectly. And Richard has, almost $2 billion that were sacrificed for Pulsechain and PulseX.
Not to mention all the OA hex coins.
Yes.
He won't use
That
hex.
has none of the 2 billions besides the OA back.
He's not gonna do the hex. He's not gonna use hex. I do not believe that. He
Well, I
changed
know,
the
but we're
hex.
just saying that's there.
I
It is
disagree.
there.
I think Richard has shown that now I am making the assumption that Richard has some bearing on the OA and sister wallets here and some
Greg the Duck, bro.
Yeah, Greg the Duck. That's right. So maybe I'm wrong in that assumption, but whoever is controlling that supply has shown themselves to be a master market maker. And I think Richard is going to use all of the assets at his disposal to be able to make his ecosystem one of the most vibrant, eyes on it, attention. So yeah, he'll go in, or I should say the OA, whoever that may be. I'm of the opinion they'll probably bind a liquidity between, Pulsechain, PulseX, Hex on Ethereum, Hex on Pulsechain. Now the question is when and how much and how thick. Because the fact of the matter is you probably don't want to go bind all of that stuff immediately, really fast in massive amounts. Maybe you do, but you probably want to let the market, take control, help the system, do what the market's going to do. And you could probably bind a liquidity over time the same way that the AMM bot is programmed to release liquidity over time. You can bind it over time as well and help things to move together. I mean, honestly, I think Richard wants to see the ecosystem hurt early on. I think he wants to let his hands out. I don't think there will be a ton of support early on. And and it'll wash the weak hands out. I think Richard has shown time and time again to do this. I think there's no reason to change that with Pulsechain and PulseX. I think there will be a lot of people that will be scared and say, oh, Pulsechain didn't go do a 50x right out of the gate, and I hope they dump so we can scoop.
Everyone will be selling it to go on to Zen. That's one thing I won't be doing. I won't be selling my RH ecosystem, which I value more than the Zen ecosystem. I'm not going to sell that ecosystem to come over here. Now, I'll mint and do all that fun stuff, but there's no way I would sell Hex, Pulsechain, or PulseX to come over and buy Zen. It's right now, the market's so stupid. Everyone's showing to me exactly how they're just wrecked retail plebs. Because I would not do the opposite either. I wouldn't do if you're a very hardcore Zen community person, I wouldn't do the opposite either. If you see Pulsechain ripping and it's up a 20x, and then your Zen's down at the time, and you go sell your Zen to go into. I wouldn't do the opposite if I was on the flip side.
I believe he's going to convert the stable coins to ETH to catch the pumps as well. So he has more liquidity, basically. Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. But he also admitted it in some way at a stream with Trevon that he basically pumped up the price. He propped it up. I was there in the beginning when he talked with Trevon and stuff.
For sure. And once again, like there's the funds there. What has Richard talked about? Like what's important to him? Well, he is interested in legacy. He's interested in people liking him and being looked upon as with regard to that a lot of Bitcoiners look to Satoshi. Like that's what he wants. And so, if he's not interested necessarily in money and, he already has everything that he wants, then the next thing is legacy. And the best way to do that is to use the things at his disposal to be able to make his community and systems as vibrant as possible. Best way to get eyes on it is green candles and price up.
And for the security, yeah, I remember he mentioned that he cares of two things mainly, and that was security and med gains. And Richard Hart is the main factor to be involved into his ecosystem, because if everything else fails, he's the one who can pump it or do something for the price appreciation. I think he's the best game theorist in town.
Agreed.
Agree.
No, he's basically just there for the people. That's basically one of the only guys.
And the glory obviously fills the ego part and the success part in him, because it's not money anymore. Like Dane had alluded to, it's not dollars anymore. But yeah, absolutely, he really does care for the people. That's why he has been putting out so much content for all these years, about security and about how to be a better person, how to give a better apology, how to like create a business, how to like. He's been doing that forever. And then when he believed in the crypto, when he first got into crypto, it was Bitcoin. And he was really an advocate for the Bitcoin and the purpose behind Bitcoin and how it could change the world. And then he changed his worldview over to Ethereum and started really talking about that. And then, of course, he's like, well, I think I can create a better cryptocurrency than what Bitcoin is. And that was the whole – it wasn't to get rich. That's for sure. It was to change people's lives and change the ecosystem.
Yeah, but people do not really understand crypto because they all think all cryptos die. But the biggest reason cryptos die is just because of the allocations and stuff, and the owners dump the coin to oblivion. So everyone believes everything is a scam in crypto. Until now. So that because I invested in like 30, 40 projects in the 2017 hype, and they all died. They all died.
I couldn't done my
point, and most do. Yeah, most do.
Yeah, it was like that time.
But,
Guys, sorry.
I even think even if you have a shit product that does not work, it will pump for sure. If you have no allocation, it will go up anyways, even if there's no hype.
In the bull market,
if you have a little bit of marketing and community, like you don't
even need that. I've seen coins that went up 200x and they even died in the cycle, but just because there's nobody holding a bunch of coins, they go up. Look at XRP. It's done nothing. Nothing. They just keep on dumping on users.
Could you imagine being one of the poor XRP guys or ladies that you're thinking this is going to be your cycle? Oh man, I feel bad.
This could be their cycle. I mean, I hope it is for them. I mean, I'm not an XRP guy at all, and I don't like the whole banker coin and that's getting too close to the whole CBDCs and everything else that's going. Like, why do I want to support that ecosystem? I don't. I want to remove myself out of that ecosystem. But like those guys, I mean, a lot of them, they're holding on to the XRP for years.
4 years.
And so, like, I hope
with no price action.
Yeah, I hope they can go get themselves a 50x out of this bull run. If they win the SEC case, which I think they will, it's good. That's good for crypto as a whole. Let them get a 50x so they can like get some rewards for holding for so long. I mean, 2 market cycles.
Guys, I have my experience with XRP. It was my first black horse back in 2017 when I jumped in front of the bull run. I bought it, waited like half year until December. It pumped like 20 times. I didn't understand cycles. I thought that everything will go up forever. It tanked to my break even. I held it for 3 another years, and then I changed it to Changelink and Polkadot just few days before XRP pumped again. So that was like three years of holding through the pump and selling it before another pump. It was terrible. Then I started to do my research because that was like forever time, and I gained nothing out of that. Nothing.
So, right.
That's nasty. Hey, I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wrote down a couple notes. 3 really quick ones. Impermanent loss and single-sided staking. So there's no impermanent loss with single-sided staking, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And then Watsa. So I got a nice sized bag of Watsa. I wanted to see what you guys' thoughts are on Watsa, especially since there's a maximum of only 22,000 holders of the token, and that's decreasing every day while the coin's increasing. What do you think?
I wish I'd have bought more.
Love my watch.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
I wish I would double down on my. In fact, I did double down. I remember Dane. He called me. I was over at my daughter. That was the day my daughter was having her birthday party, and
Yeah.
Dane called me and was like, "Hey, man, I think I'm gonna go really heavy. Well, he was gonna go heavier than anticipated." And then I was like, "Man, he got me more bullish," and so I doubled down on my current position because of Dane. And I wish I would have doubled down on top of that.
What do you consider like going heavy, like 5K, 10K, more, even more?
Oh,
I did like
I think it
2,500.
depends
I
on
did
your-
like $2,500.
Yeah, I think it depends on your bag size, right? So
Yeah.
like if you have 10
And you'll find
grand
that
and you went 2,500, like that's heavy. That's a quarter of
heavy.
your bag.
Right.
If you had 100 grand, you went 2,500.
Not
I mean,
so
that's-
heavy.
Yeah, you're not so
Yeah.
heavy.
That
It's
makes
all
sense.
relative.
Okay, and then my last question is, you talked, Dane, about you got a bunch of coins on your radar, and you're going to go dip hunting with your rhino chaser rifle. So some of the coins I've written down, we got Fiat, we got Famous, we got Power City, we got Liquid Loans, we got PLS, PLSX, Watsa. What other ones that?
Well, you forgot Hex, P-Hex.
Yeah, I got. That's just
Icosa. I didn't hear Icosa.
Icosa.
There.
There you go, Icosa. Cool.
Hedron. If Hedron went on a massive dip, that could be another one that could be a good.
Hedron.
If
Yep,
they went on a massive dip. I mean,
I like the PH ecosystem a lot. So
I do too.
So I won't say I'm not gonna. I'll tell you the ones that I'm looking at really closely. I'm not gonna tell you the ones that I'm like not. And I'm very selective. I'm my portfolio. Corey will tell you. I'm very selective about what I buy. I don't want to spread myself out much.
Yeah, Dane's more selective than I am.
Yeah.
I spread myself out a little bit more on stuff, or I'll put like a couple grand here, a grand here on some more moonshot type protocols. Where Dane, he's more concentrated.
Okay.
Yeah. So I really like the PH ecosystem. Of all of their stuff, I like Famous the best. And once again, and take everything in perspective here. I could be wrong on all of this, like so like take all this with a grain of salt. I really like Famous. I'm hoping for a nice big juicy dip there. I'm not confident there will be a big dip in any of these things. So I'm going to be patient, sit back and wait. Really like Famous. I like Power City for the fact that they are building like crazy over there. It feels a little bit like Zen in the respect of how much is being built, and there's fees that are generated that go back to those that are staking, in Power City, the Watt token. Thank you, Corey. The fees for everything that they do go back to the holders of the Watt token. I think that's pretty bullish. So I like that a lot. Of course, Pulsechain, Pulsex, Hex. That's pretty well. Yeah, that's the main stuff that I'm looking at. Hedron and Icosa. I'm very satisfied with my Hedron and Icosa holdings. And so I'm not dying to build those more. But yeah, if there's a nice dip there, I'd go pick up some. And that's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
Regarding the Icosa, I just wanted to add that personally, I'm kind of disappointed with that DPEG, which already lasts so long, and I don't see it repegging anytime soon. I don't know whether in the bull run if it's come back or not, but now it's kind of useless if you go for the HSI auctions, or if you just wrap your tokens and want to extract the value, you are like 80% in loss.
Yeah, it's my issue too with the ecosystem. And I've talked about this before, and I don't think it's talked about because it's people are like, anytime you talk about something negative, it's called FUD, even though you should be analyzing, both sides of the coins of all time, like of what's going on with an ecosystem. But I feel like if the borrowing of Hedron doesn't work, if you can't borrow Hedron off your HSI stakes and use it for a legitimate use case, if that doesn't work, and then if the HSI buybacks do not work, if those two factors do not work in the ecosystem, that is the whole ecosystem. And in my honest opinion, if that never pans out, that the ecosystem will fail. It will fail.
Didn't Icosa have a treasure or something, like an amount of
had
coins?
seed liquidity for a
Yeah,
year.
can't they like bond it to something to basically pump it up as well?
Bonded to hex. It's supposed to be around 33 to 34 hex per Icosa is what you're supposed to receive. And so what you might be thinking, though, is a seed liquidity, Alex, that initiated to the ecosystem to get people amped up about selling their HSIs and staking Icosa and getting it started. But like I said, if those two factors don't end up panning out in the future, it will be a failed protocol.
Yep, for sure.
But
Just
also,
go
so I think so. So here's what you're betting on, and this is where for me,
Otherwise, it's just a meme coin.
Yeah, I'm looking at it where you've got for my portfolio, I've said, hey, do I have enough in here that if it goes well, that I'm satisfied? Because I never want to look back and say, well, gosh, I wish I would have played my hand stronger. You know what I mean? But you've got to be all right too with your allocation there to say like, well, you could get left behind. It's easy to look back and say, well, if all of that money would have been, in Hex or Pulsechain or Pulsex, but nobody knows. It's unknowable. So you just find that balance for you. I'm feeling all right about it. I think that, we're in the beginning stages of like the really high, what's the word I'm looking for, Corey? Inflation. We're in the inflationary phase where there's a ton of yield coming out. It's really easy to sell the price down. And everything's tied to the T-share with Icosa and Hedron. And so, if you believe in Hex, you believe in the T-share, you like that system and how it all works, then you've got to give it time. And that's where, once again, how much money are you willing to bet there, and how much time are you willing to give it? And that's where you've got to determine what makes sense for you in your portfolio.
Absolutely.
Guys, thank you for letting me here and to speak with you.
Can I
it's Friday night out here, and I have to go already. But
thanks for joining us. We appreciate you.
Yeah,
and we will see each other next week.
Keep watching. Thank you, bro. Talk to you soon.
Bye, bro. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
What's up, Norbert?
Shoot with your question, champ.
Oh, hey guys. No, I just wanted to say that you made really good. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Cool. Just wanted to make some good points about Icosa and Hedron. Number one, in my opinion, many other people's opinion, Alex is an extremely smart guy. So let's not forget about that one. Number one.
Agreed.
Number two is he proved it at the beginning that, when he released Hedron itself, everyone was like, oh yeah, whatever, I can mint zillions of this and then I can just dump it. And then those people, they realized, or probably biting their nails now, oh, I'll make sure that I didn't make the right decision back in the days. So as you were saying, everything just takes time to mature, and, probably a new function is going to come in. And at the same time, I learned one thing. I've been in crypto since 2020. Lost a lot of money at the beginning. But
me too.
We all have to go through these phases. But from now on, I only invest in crypto which generate me yield. And if I can do that, and especially recently, now that you can see that the Icosa price is fairly stable, all you need to do, just go on a market, buy some Icosa, stake it, and enjoy the ride. And many people forget the couple of basic rules. Number one, only invest as much as you can afford to lose. So if I only invest as much as I can afford to lose, I don't need to worry about it. I just buy it, do what I'm meant to do with it, let it do its thing, give me some eggs. You know, maybe it's gonna be 1 egg one day, and the next day it's gonna be 10 eggs, but it's still gonna
You
be.
still wanted the solar, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, why
So
do
yeah,
that?
Icos and Hedron, I think they're gonna be extremely good bets. And right now we have this meme coin mania at the moment. People are like Pepe this, Pepe that,
I
fuck
know.
Pepe. It's just everyone is buying something, and you know when you go to Dex tools, I prefer Dex tools compared to CoinGecko because you got so much more valuable information. Even the chart looks better, so it's just a much more user-friendly experience. And on that one, it's just popping up every day, like at least 5-10 things on the top 35,000x in like, oh sorry, 35,000% in like 24 hours and things like that. It's just absolutely crazy. That's gonna come down. I already started analyzing and watching the space, and you can see like 60% drop in like 12 hours. So it's gonna come down. People are gonna learn, and probably they're gonna look around. And thanks to you guys, I really enjoy watching every single show of yours because you have this combination of maturity and at the same time this genuinity, like down to earth, and you've done a lot of good decisions in your life, as I can tell. You went into properties and you got money to invest. So if we have these kind of shows that gonna educate the people, and they realize like, oh, okay, so these guys talking about something which is more stable, and they come across as genuine rather than some fake Telegram groups when they're like, yeah, buy this one and then you're gonna make like 2,000% in like 24 hours.
Yeah, moon math.
So yeah, that's my take on
Papa
that.
Dubs.
I appreciate you, man. Seriously, that means a lot. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Dane, I wanted to ask you something else.
Sure.
What I believe the Zen ecosystem is gonna do, I think they're going to have the DEX coin, and I believe he's going to have a buy and burn for the DEX coin itself and for the X1 token. That's what I believe.
I'm with you. I think he'll fork Pulse X. Like, why would you not? I would do that.
I
would
know.
fork it
He's
if I
got
was
the
building a layer one
community.
blockchain.
He's got
So-
the community will love it.
Yeah, so bullish. It's very
I mean, I
bullish.
love it. I'd go over there and play around. Like, it'd have my attention.
Keep on minting, guys. Keep on minting.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a Zentorian this weekend.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful we see better pricing. We need to stop talking about it, so maybe people will stop. minting.
I know everyone on the
calm
show
down.
now. We got 40 people on the show. Everyone's gonna go in there and start minting Zen today. Guys, hold off.
It already went up 16x or something. How much did it go
know.
up? 16x? It's insane.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's
wild.
crazy. And guys,
And
smash
keep
the
it-
likes and hit the bell notification, subscribe. Go ahead, Dane.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, like, if you guys are watching the show and you're considering minting Zen, the name of the game there is to be able to get it at as good of gas price as possible. I've been monitoring it this last week. I've seen it as cheap as like $1,200. I've seen it as high as $5,000 for one Zenturian. So massive difference there. And everybody's focused on the price chart. I get it, but if you're the price chart's great, but if you're buying at a 3x of what you could, if you're a little more patient because of gas, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. So just like be patient with that. You can monitor.
I think Zen has started the bull market because the more people use them, the more it's gonna pull up all the blockchains with the fees. It's going to pull up everything. It's gonna pull up itself. You can see it right now. Everything is down and Zen is up on all chains, and it's gonna pump up everything basically. It's insane.
And it's bullish for other layer ones like Pulsechain. Like, let's be in my opinion, Zen is ruining ETH gas fees.
Yeah,
it is,
but it burns them. It burns them as well. It burns it. So supply gets removed from circulation, and the price goes up of ETH. And if ETH goes up, everything goes up.
That's also why I like minting on ETH too, just because we're gonna get copy of those mints on Pulsechain.
Yeah, right. Indeed.
Right. So it's bullish for things like Pulsechain. I think people are going to be seeking out more than last cycle. They're going to be seeking out places they can go play around and not get slaughtered in fees. I mean, I paid $100 for a swap on Uniswap a few weeks ago. because like it was a swap I wanted, and I wanted it then, and I wasn't willing to wait. So I paid the money, I did the swap, and like it was what it was. But like that sucks, you know what I mean? That sucks.
Dane, have you done an unstake at the top for Hex? It was around
I wish we were
1,500 bucks. I will try to unstake a 3-year stake, $1,500.
1,500?
Yeah, it was insane.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is.
But I'm not sure if you know this website called tx3.com. That helped me a lot when my first hex stake matured, and I had to unstake it. And it was on a Saturday morning. Was watching this. Is basically you see like coaches, and it shows you all the people coming in, like each transaction, and it shows you the guy on top. So it's really, really good, because when I wanted to end the stake, it showed me like $350, and I was watching this tx3.com. You will see yourself. They use the South Park themes, so you see a lot of figures like that moving around. It's really cool. And just by waiting, like, I don't know, half an hour, I could reduce it to $150. So and
really?
that's
what was the website?
I'm like, okay, I saved 200, so why not?
Yeah, what's that website, Norbert?
Tango X-ray Tango Street.com.
Tango X-ray Tango Street.
Street.com. Yeah.
TXT Street.
Tango X-ray T for Tango. Oh, sorry, not TX Street. Sorry, Tango X-ray Street.com.
Oh, TX Street. Okay.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
That's a good. And guys, remember when you have a hex stake that's being due, you have 2 weeks to unstake it without penalty.
As well.
And even then, the penalty is like 1% a week or something. I can't remember.
Or something like that. Yeah,
it's very little. Right. So like, wait till it's most advantageous in the GUI price to unstake it.
Normally Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings can be good times to do.
If you got to do what Dane did and wake your wife up at 3 a.m. to go and undo your stake,
or just put a transaction. Just make it pending transaction. Once it hits that GUI, it automatically does it.
You can do that too. Correct.
I don't like it. I don't like my
MetaMask is that you get it stuck, and then you got to do a non-sin to unstick it.
And things like that. Yeah,
it's a pain in the ass. It's a real pain in the ass. I'd rather just like be there when the GUI is low and catch it, because I've done that with my Zen mints, where I set the GUI, and then like 2 weeks later, my wallet's still not minted. I'm waiting. I'm like, oh my god, and I'll knock it out, reset it. I'm like, pain in the ass. So I like just.
And one more tip when it comes to ending your hex stake. I'm not sure if it's going to happen to everyone or happen to some people or majority of the people, but what happened to me was that I couldn't end the stake. There was like some sort of issue, and the guy who introduced me to Hex, and I didn't listen to him at the first time. That's why I'm not a millionaire today, unfortunately. But yeah, I need to work harder. But I still got into Hex 1 year after he talked to me about, and
you will be this market cycle.
I think this market cycle will be all right.
Oh yeah, you've been around now. You've been around long enough. You've learned. Like you've.
And you might need to turn off your VPN to be able to end the stake, because that was causing some sort of like blockage or like fluctuation or something, and I couldn't do it. And then he was like, okay, turn off your VPN and let's see if we can do it, because he was happy me to end the stake and stuff. It was my first time, like the Virgin guy. And as soon as we did it, it went through, and then I just put it back on, and that's it. So just in case, if you're not able to end your hex stake, just turn off your VPN.
Yeah, I had the same issue before. It's a problem.
Yeah, cool. No, that's a great tip. Well, we appreciate you guys jumping on. This was a great show today. It's probably a good time to wrap up. But yeah, we'll do this every Friday. If you guys want to jump in and participate, we love hearing from you guys, learning from your experience. We certainly don't know everything, and we're here to pick up the nuggets from your guys' experience.
Like TX Street. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, that was cool. In fact, it looks like it's got a Chrome extension here, so I'm gonna go play around with that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys got time for one more question? Simple one.
Sure.
Yeah,
shoot away, bro.
Single-sided staking. So prices, let's say 5 cents for Hex. I put my single-sided stake between, let's say, 3.5 and 4.5 cents. to the left of price on my single-sided USDC staking.
Yep.
Price drops into my range, I start getting paid.
Yes.
All right. And so it drops between 3.5 and 4.5 cents. I start getting transaction fees. There's no chance of impermanent loss, so that's good. If it goes out of my range, what happens? I just stop getting paid. It doesn't automatically buy Hex if it goes to the left of my range, or if it goes to the right,
Correct.
it doesn't.
So it could go down in your range. You start earning fees, and you're earning fees in USDC and in Hex, depending on the buy and sell pressure.
Okay.
And then if it bounced back out, you'd be only left with your USDC. That's it. So you're back to starting where you started with. Plus, you still have your fees. You keep your fees. Now you said about the permanent loss thing. Let's analyze that. If Hex were to drop all the way down through your range, let's say Hex for some reason dropped down to 2 cents. Well, now your impermanent loss is that you bought Hex between 3.5 and 4.5 cents. So your cost basis of Hex is 4 cents, even though it dropped down to 2 cents. You could have bought, if you were just holding USDC, you could have picked up Hex at 2 cents versus, playing the LP game, and now you had picked it up at 4 cents. So just keep that in the back of your head as you're playing the game. I'm playing LP right now. Literally right now, I'm watching an LP position. I'm doing the exact same thing. I had set my LP from 5.5 cents to 5.5 to 6.9. And so right now I'm earning fees, but I understand that if it drops down to 5 cents, I'm holding all Hex. I'm holding all Hex, and my cost basis that I bought that Hex at now is going to be the average of whatever that LP position was. Now, let's take it a step further. Let's say you open that position, it were to drop down to 2 cents. Yes, theoretically, you have an impermanent loss right there. You could have bought Hex at a cheaper price. But obviously, is Hex going to stay at 2 cents? Probably not. If it comes back up in your position, now you're back into where you would, making fees again, and say then it leaves you again. Now you've earned all those fees from Hex going in and out of your position, and you didn't suffer any permanent loss. That's why it's called impermanent loss, because it's not a loss until you click the in LP position button and sell out of the position. That's when you realize the loss. That's why it's called impermanent loss.
One more question just for clarification. All right, so single-sided staking at 3.5 to 4.5 cents. In between that range, I get fees, but then the price drops below. Yes. I still didn't take any loss whatsoever as far as my USDC valuation. It popped out the impermanent loss as if it went to 2 cents.
You did.
No, you did. Because you essentially swapped your USDC for Hex, and Hex is falling. So the price is falling as it's moving through your range, and you're swapping your USDC for a Hex that's losing dollar value during that time frame.
Okay, I get it. Okay, but it's impermanent. It's impermanent. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
You're 100% in Hex now. Impermanent. It's not permanent.
Okay. Right.
You hold it.
You pull your position. Yeah.
Yeah, you hold it, and you get. What's great is you hold it, and then it comes back in, and man, that's where you really monetize a position, because you just got both sides of the trade and fees, and depending on how long it stays in that position. It can be a lot of money. I mean,
let me check. Go ahead. Sorry.
I've been doing great these last 3 days because Hex has been extremely volatile. I'm making about, it's about, what is that? Over about 2% a day. I'm making about 2% a day on my money right now. It's ridiculous because Hex has been so volatile, with people selling huge bags, people buying it back up, selling huge bags. There's a big fight right now in the bulls and bears in the Hex right now, which is cool. If you're in an LP position, as long as it stays inside your LP position, you're just raking those fees in. And so those fees can also offset your impermanent loss too. Where if you at the end of the movie, you can look at your fees and be like, okay, I lost, about $5,000 in value in Hex, but did I make that up in fees? Or maybe did I make some of it up? So you got to take that into account too. I'm playing the game, so it's
the best strategy you basically can do is just wait until the bear market hits and
sideways action.
Measure it, yeah, when it is down around 90 to 96%, and just go in an LP position for a year or something, and then pull it. Yeah, that's the best thing to do. You earn money in a bear market, and your friends basically safe.
I love
So,
that. Yep. And
So-
my biggest fear is when you apply an LP, when you're getting left behind. Like if say you apply an LP above you put USDC, right, and then the hex you get. Am I thinking that right? I don't want to sell
price
my
moves up,
hex.
turns it into USD, turns your hex into USDC, and the hex price runs, and you're left behind.
And you're left behind. That's
Yeah.
I have a bigger fear of that than the opposite, than being fully in hex and then the price dipping below me. That doesn't scare me nearly as bad as the opposite of getting left behind.
Yeah. So at any time during that 3.5 and 4.5 cents, as long as the price stays within that range, I could end my LP position.
Sure can.
As long as it stays in, and I will absolutely get 0 impermanent loss, and I will have collected those fees.
No,
No,
that's not true either.
That's not
Okay.
true either, unless your fees are more than what your impermanent loss is.
All right.
I don't
The
want
more
to show
the more that it drifts to the left, the more I'm in hex, and then I could be getting impermanent loss. The more it drifts to the right of my range, okay, I got it.
Yeah, because the value of the hex bag that you hold now is less and less worth more money, even though it's still in your range. But I've watched it many times. Like my main principal, the principal of my bag, dropped down as hex was dropping, and then when it came back up, then it gets back to where it initially was set at as far as value. But then my fees, man, are just kicking ass. And the hex price is just doing this right now.
Wow.
And the fees are just taking off. So it's and if it runs off without me, fine. I just get held the bag that I started with, which is USDC, but I have all those fees. Now it can run below me, and I've been thinking about setting a second LP position a lot lower, just in case down there where the OA is providing liquidity at. I might set a second position down there as a hedge. If for some reason they would have dropped down in there, I'm still earning fees. I'm still buying hex, basically dollar cost averaging. I'm buying hex at that lower price, and that way I'm not hurting so much on the impermanent loss, I guess, if you will. So I might set a second position here in the next day or two. I don't know yet, but it's.
Liquidity is just so thick down there, 5.5 to 3.5 cents. Your fees are just not going to be what they are right now.
Yeah, I would set it right there, like below the 5.5. Like there's a sweet spot there in the 5.4 where there's almost no liquidity. It's a very, very thin. Right. I would put a lot of money in there and maybe down and just a tad bit into the OA liquidity, and I would set a second position right there.
Yeah,
so
I like it.
You said liquidity is really thin right now, so the fees are less?
No, they're higher.
Oh, liquidity's higher, right?
More
and a lot higher fees because you got a bigger piece of the pie.
Yep.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. Good, great questions. These are great.
What you're saying. Yeah.
That's great stuff.
I'm telling you, bro, it's smart. Start small, get a feel for it, see how
we've been wrecked. I've been wrecked. Dane's been wrecked doing the liquidity game multiple times.
Huh. Yeah, I need to learn it first. It's not that easy to do. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave you. Have a good evening, everyone. I'll see you the next one.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yeah, all the best, guys. Thank you for having me, and looking forward to the next one as well. Have a nice weekend.
Norbert, man, thank you for the good tip today.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, you are fantastic, guys. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Well, have a good weekend, guys. We'll end the show here, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Adios. Thank you.
Adios.